So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Google Pixel 3, clearly white. First impressions, that phone is so white it kind of matches the background almost. It's still a little bit, but it almost blends in right with the background. So it's a super white device here. Now, the first thing I know a lot of people are going to be asking me is what's up with the defective chips you got on that phone, because I posted on the community poll. Also, I posted on the Twitter and as well as Instagram. And after I put my apps on, I was wiping down the phone just to, get everything looking clean. I always do that when I get a new phone for a review because I want them to look good for the videos. And I noticed right here, there's a chip on the device. So I'm pretty sure you can see that right there. Now, it is very minor, but that is unacceptable for a brand new device. Now, in person, it's really, really small, and a lot of people probably could get over this, but you got to remember, when you're investing $800, $900, $1,000 for your phone, that thing better be pristine out of the box. I also got a little chip. There was a little chip right there. So it's almost as if the people who were doing the housing of this particular model were just rushing it. There's another one right there. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's like a little chip by the display. It's really small, but I'm a type of person who notices these little details. So for me, this one is likely going back. There's another one somewhere on the body. Not sure if it's necessary to show you that. You can just go ahead and check my Twitter or check my Instagram to see all the photos where I did get some chips on here. But I'm not going to center this entire impressions on that. I did contact Google. They did say they would have me a phone within 5 to 10 business days. They're sincerely sorry about this. I get it. Manufacturing defects, they happen. And Google's not known to have the best quality control. So I'm not actually too surprised by this. But if you're listening, Google, we need to step it up there in the quality control, because that's not cool, especially considering you can walk into, an Apple store, you can walk into a Best Buy, buy a Samsung, and you're going to get a pristine device right out of the box. So that's something we need to work on here with these Pixels. So when you get the device, it basically is going to give you the same box that you had from last year with the Google Pixel 2. That's why I didn't call this an unboxing. It's a pretty, it's not a boring box. It looks pretty nice actually, but it's basically what you've seen last year. So I don't think it was necessary to go ahead and unbox basically the same device. But what is nice is that they have these nice colors on. It seems like every box seems to have a different color on the rear. It's pretty cool stuff here on the casing. But what did come in the box was a bunch of manuals. So you can see you have a ton of manuals right here that came in the box. You do have a SIM card tool, and you could see right there, it just flew away. We also do have some Pixel, it looks like some Pixel USB earbuds. So if I open this up right here, you can see it did come with these earbuds right here. Other than that, it did come with some stickers, which you see people trolling on Twitter already. Team Pixel stickers here, kind of like what Apple gives you in their box is an Apple sticker. So that's that. And then inside the casing, you did get a charger, a USB-C, and you also get a fast charger. And you also do get some other attachments here. You do get a dongle to 3.5 millimeter, and you also get a USB-C to, looks like a older USB port there for transferring files and things like that. So that's all that's in the box, so I didn't want to discuss that too much. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is my first impressions on design. It's like a mini Pixel 2 XL. So if you've seen the Pixel 2 XL before, this phone is like a mashup between the smaller Pixel 2 that came before it and this guy. So let's take a look at the Pixel 2 XL. You can see just a mini version of that. And if you thought the Pixel 2 XL was your more favorite phone of last year, but you thought it was a little too large, this is going to hit the sweet spot for you on the Pixel 3 right here. You can see on the back, it does not have the black panda look anymore. Like before, it's all white up at the top, but it does distinguish itself from last year's phone, or else it would look like completely identical from last year. Now you do have a little minty green home button there, so a nice little visual flair. And it's all glass now on this design on the rear, whereas these were more like a plastic feel on the back. So this does now support Qi wireless charging here. It's kind of got this matte etch kind of feeling, and it feels really smooth but very slippery. So keep that in mind. This one definitely will need a case right away. Overall, it's about the same footprint though as the Pixel 2, the smaller edition. You could see about the same height and about the same width. They just basically stretched the display, and it's also a little bit heavier. You could feel that too. It feels like a little weightier in the pocket, a little bit more sturdy feeling than the Pixel 2, but the Pixel 2 was a featherweight. This one's still a featherweight, but not quite as light as the Pixel 2, 148 grams. I think this one was 143. So that's definitely felt a little bit, but you can see no longer with the chunky bezels on the Pixel 3. So it's a nice update there. You still have your stereo speakers, which is why you have such a large chin on this device, and you do have your USB-C here at the bottom. We do have ourselves a SIM card tray, and here's your camera, your 12.2 megapixel. We have our flash right there and a fingerprint sensor, which is cool because you can still swipe down from the top. I do like that aspect. Microphone hole up there. Volume rocker off to the right, and again, that home button off to the left, nothing. My first take on build quality though is that it feels, this sides actually are aluminum, but they feel kind of like polycarbonate on the side. I remember that older like plasticky polycarbonate feel. That's how they kind of feel on this white model anyway. On the side, the back feels like an etched matte material. It kind of feels similar to last year's, quite honestly, but still a little bit more premium feeling. The top is a little bit similar to last year as well. Actually, it's almost identical with that glass at the top, and it just feels a lot more comfortable and premium in the hand versus the Pixel 2 of last year, but it's not quite as light. That's about what I got to say here for this. But the reach is a little higher for people. It's going to be a little bit higher to reach up if you have small hands because it has a taller display, but it feels more narrow side to side. So if you're going side to side, I think you'll be happy with the Pixel 3. Taking a look at the Pixel 3 next to an iPhone 10, you can see it's about the same size there, but the iPhone 10 does stretch more display, but does give you the notch. You can see right there, similar footprint to this device, but it's a lot lighter than the iPhone 10 or the 10s, and it's actually much more narrow than those devices. You can see it's just more narrow than that device. So I think you're really gonna like the Pixel 3 if you like these smaller, more manageable smartphones. So I want to talk about the displays. Out of the box, Google did put it on the adaptive mode, which is kind of like its punchy saturated mode, which is nice, so we don't have any issues and complaints about the display this year. Boosted, natural is still there, but they leave it in adaptive mode. This smaller one is manufactured by LG, but it looks much better than the display of last year on the Pixel 2 XL, even though that one was also manufactured by LG. And see if we get any blue shift. So you can see not quite as much as on the left there. So a much improved display here for the Pixel 3, even though it's manufactured by LG still, this one is improved. So you got a better display overall versus last year's Pixel. My first impressions in terms of the software is that you don't have the option to go back to the old home button on this device, so you have to use the gestures on the Pixel 3. It is Android 9 Pie, very simple, clean software by Google, and it's not really stock Android anymore. It's more like a Google experience. If we go into the settings menu, you could see it's colorful and it's got digital well-being, adaptive battery modes, and things like that. So it is loaded with the features from Google. You also do have your squeeze assistant here, and I noticed that even on the lightest mode, it's actually harder to squeeze the newer ones. So if you were complaining last year about accidental squeezes too often on your Pixel, this one is a lot more, it takes a lot more squeeze to get it to activate. So you will like that. The haptics are also a lot stronger on this new device. When you do hit the haptic buttons here, they do have a really strong vibration, so I did notice that on my first impressions as well. I wanted to take a second to talk about the wallpapers as well. The Pixel 2 comes with some nice new wallpapers. I always love when we get new wallpapers for devices, and you could see that it's loaded with all the colorful, beautiful wallpaper selections of your choice. This phone gives you more new wallpapers than most devices will give you, so I do like that, and it really shows off those better, newer displays for the Pixel series. So I just want to touch on performance just a little bit. This comes with a Snapdragon 845, puts it in line with every other flagship this year. An Adreno 630 does come to this device, as well as only 4 gigabytes of RAM. And that's really the only thing I don't like about what I'm seeing in terms of what this is going to do in performance is the 4 gigabytes of RAM, because the Pixel 2 and 2 XL did get a little bit slower over time, and I think that's mostly due to the RAM department. So we're gonna have to see how this one plays out, but overall I think that it's gonna be a little bit faster than last year's Pixel 2 because it's a Snapdragon 845, but it's not gonna be a breakthrough chipset like a 7nm you're gonna see in the Mate 20 Pro or Apple's iPhone XS, for example, but the optimization of the software should help it to perform rather well in comparison. So on the rear, we have a 12.2 megapixel camera. It's still a slight bump, so you definitely want a case if you don't want that scratching up a little bit. And this device does have 4K 30. It doesn't shoot in 4K 60. So in terms of the camera software, I have noticed that it's just a lot easier to operate this software, and I took a bunch of samples. So let's go ahead and take a look at those in a second. Super res zoom is on here, and the burst mode is ridiculously fast on this device. Look at this burst. Wow. I mean, it just blows through these photos like it's nothing. Super wide selfie camera, dual front cameras up here, 8 megapixels. That's why the notch is on the larger phone, but if they were able to squeeze it in there, I'm not sure why they weren't able to do that with the larger one. Portrait mode edge detection looks awesome so far. I did one selfie with the front camera and it still worked just as good as I'm sure the rear will work. Go ahead and check out these samples. Let me know your thoughts if this 12.2 megapixel camera has improved over last year's. So here's some more video for the Pixel 3. You can kind of see how it does perform with the stabilization. Let's go ahead and bring it over here. And you can see there we go. So I want to give you a front-facing video test while running to kind of see how it does perform with the stabilization. And that's basically how it does do. So my first impressions on battery, I was using it all night last night and it was draining really slow. So it's looking promising. I can't give you a full impression yet or a full review on the battery just yet, but it's looking pretty strong with over a 2900 milliamp hour in this small device. I'm pretty sure this one's easily going through the day. So this should be all day battery life here for the Pixel 3. Google's saying that these speakers are up to 40% louder. And I definitely hear that. They're much louder than last year's Pixels. And they sound much better as well. Stereo speakers, so they fire right at you. If you like that, you're going to love the Pixel 3, but it doesn't have a headphone jack, which is, well, we're just gonna have to get used to that because it's not coming back anytime soon. So is it enough to outsell the competition? And that remains to be seen. The Pixel 3 is definite upgrade over the Pixel 2, but it's nothing like groundbreakingly new over last year's phones. It's kind of like a refinement. It seems like every smartphone manufacturer this year did a refinement year, like the Galaxy S9, refinement over the Galaxy S8, iPhone XS, refinement over the iPhone X, Google Pixel 3, refinement over Google Pixel 2. So it's like a refinement year for every manufacturer. I think 2019 is where we're going to see some real changes. Overall, the camera is looking stellar, better than last year for sure. It's more manageable with a similar design as the Pixel 2 XL, and it's cheaper than the Pixel 3 XL. I think it's a pretty darn good smartphone. I just might have to send mine back for a few of those chips. I'm not going to start no Chipgate, Scuffgate, not just with one unit. I mean, if a bunch of people say this, then I will come with a video and share my stories. I do got the proof. So if more people come out with this, I might consider sharing more in detail about that. But if you want to see the pictures, go ahead and check my community post. Go check my Twitter, Instagram. It's all there. You can check out more in detail, zoom in and see the scuffs a little bit closer. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Pixel 3? Are you picking one up? Are you put off by the fact that I got a lemon? Are you just not picking one up because you don't want a Pixel 3? You like the competition better? Let us know your thoughts down below, and any video ideas, suggestions you want to see on the Pixel 3 3XL, let me know. I might be a little bit delayed because I got to send this phone back, but I will be taking in that feedback. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you all in the next episode. Be sure to be well, and peace.